On today's episode of Pathmonk Presents, I've got a very special guest with me joining today. Please welcome Garrett Brock, who is the VP of Marketing at Stukent. So for all of you who don't know, this is a cutting-edge software that mainly serves to educators across the country to be able to help our students be able to reach new heights within their education system. Garrett, thank you so much for joining us today. It's an honor to have you on our show.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. We're honored to have you here, learn more about you and as well as what you do at Stukent and what you guys offer. So tell us, what does your company do overall? We have an idea, you serve to educators and, help students overall, but can you give us more in depth what you guys do overall?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're a digital courseware provider. So we provide digital textbooks and simulations to educators to use in their business, marketing, accounting, and communication classes. So our main audience is our higher education, but we also serve the high school market. We have some simulations for high school classrooms as well. And so in our what we call Simternships, they're like simulated internships. So our digital textbooks are always up to date and current. Our authors update them yearly, and they're paired with a Simternship where students get to practice and see what it looks like to be in that role in the real world. So for instance, we have a social media marketing digital textbook. So they learn the concepts there. And then in the Simternship, they get an opportunity to practice creating a social calendar and creating content, and they schedule a week's worth of posts at a time. They get to do paid versus organic. They get to target audiences. They get to kind of run these social accounts for this fictitious company, and then they run the simulation. And the simulation spits out all the analytics of how that week's worth of posts would have done, the KPIs, the likes, the shares, the comments, the engagement, and how much revenue each post drove for the company. And so they get to then practice and see if what they're learning is sticks, and to see if it's something they even like. And so we have that for over 40 subjects in marketing, accounting, communication, and business. Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. And I love too how it's so diverse where the 40 subjects, it allows for students to be able to pick, okay, this is what I want to do my internship in, or I have an interest in this one. Can I try this one first and go on to this one next? So with this internship, how long is it? Are the students allowed to start one, and then once they finish their first internship, can they pick up another one? Or is it more where they start the first one and then they're not able to do it again after?
They could do more. So they usually play around through one time because they play like with their course. Usually a teacher introduces it somewhere in the semester. And what's great from the education side is there's gradable aspects to it. So a teacher can use this Simternship as part of their grade. But each Simternship ranges somewhere, our Simternships range from 6 rounds to like 15 rounds. And each round takes like about an hour, maybe a little bit longer for some. And so it kind of depends on how the teacher uses it in the class. Some use it at the beginning for practice, and then they'll have exams later, or some will use the Simternships as like the exam. So it kind of depends on how the teacher wants to use it. There's a lot of options of how you'd like to use it, but they're really cool. And that's honestly like what brought me to Stukent. I was a marketer, I was a brand marketer, and when I saw what they were doing in their Simternships, it really was like, wow, this is what I wish I knew in school. This is like what my job is. This is what we do. And so seeing that real world aspect made me want to come over here and be a part of that, because it really is like, as a marketer, like I saw a marketing Simternship and I was like, man, if I would have known this 3 years before my first job, like I would have been significantly better at my first job quicker. And I think that's what students love about it. I think students also love, like, a lot of students think they want to do something in their life and they don't find out maybe till their senior year or their first job that they actually hate what they're doing with their life.
Exactly. Yeah, very true.
So the sooner they can get real world experience and see, they might find out they do or don't like something. And I think that's another big win of doing a Simternship style experience while you're in school.
Yeah, exactly. And plus it provides them with that opportunity as well, especially, depending, where you are in the US and how the job market is in that area. It varies from state to state. So I think it's great where they're able to come into this, test the waters, get their feet wet, and really be able to dive deep at such a young age to where, as you said, like it then will propel them into, okay, what career do I want to lean more into? Am I good at this? Am I not good at this? And like you said, it saves them so much time in the long run as well.
Exactly. That's a great vision of it. It takes a lot of the variables out of getting an internship. everyone has an equal opportunity to experience this, and people are on a competitive playing field. So that's really good insight.
Yeah, it is. So now we're going to switch gears and we're going to talk about the website. So
Yeah.
in your opinion, what would you say are the major strengths of your company's website, and where are there opportunities for room for improvement as well?
Yeah, so I think there's always room for improvement. We're a young team, and so like our website has tons of places for improvement. A lot of them are just around our knowledge and expertise. We run with a thin team, and we kind of target more brand marketing. That's kind of what we've been recruiting up to this point. And so like I would say where we can improve is obviously having more web-based minds on the team. But one thing that I do think our website does is we do have a big focus on getting people to the actionable points throughout the website. One unique thing about our business is we kind of have an unofficial freemium model. We give our product away for free to educators. We want them to come and see and play and use it and see if it's something that works for their class. We don't charge until they want to enroll students into the course. Yeah. And so I think our website does a really good job of trying to get educators always focused on requesting access and hopping on a demo, hopping on a walkthrough with our course consultant and just seeing how it does. So I think a singular focus is something that our website does. And I think no matter where you are on the site, it will point you to try to take one of our big call to actions. What I think it could do better is having obviously content marketing. Like content marketing is like one of those things like you can always do better because we could always have more. But I really do think that's probably a place that we can expand on is how do we do, we have a really unique audience, a niche audience of college professors who teach marketing classes. There's not a ton of them in the world, but trying to create content that's unique to them and that still drives good traffic. And so I would say like we could continue to improve our content that's relative and help build Stukent brand awareness to educators across the country.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really love too how, it's like when you're explaining the freemium model where it's free for educators, it allows for them to be able to test the simulation and see, okay, how can I integrate this? And if I can't integrate it into this course, how can I be able to integrate it into other parts of my lesson to where I'm still giving the students the opportunity to be able to try these new things. And overall, it makes the learning more interactive as well. I wish I had this when I was a student. This would have been fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why we know, like, that's why we want to get educators in it. Because like we close like at a really high rate. Like if we do a demo to an educator, like not to toot our own horn, but we close like really high. And so we just know we just need more people seeing it. And so that's why we have that singular focus, because anyone who sees it, any marketer who sees it, any educator who's been in marketing, any business professor, like it's super real world. And like, it's pretty obvious that it would benefit students. And so it's just trying to get more at bats with the right people.
Yeah, absolutely. I love how you summed it up as well. So now that we've covered the website, we want to talk about you as a leader. So you mentioned how, coming into this role, it was a part of your passion on wanting to help educators and students and what you had wished you had. So elaborate on what you do for us, throughout your day and, who you report to and who you work with.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am the vice president of marketing. And so we have two departments under marketing. We have our creative team and then we have our product marketing team. And so that is where we spend the majority of our time. Obviously, product marketing is really focused on, helping improve the product and helping position the product as well as possible for it to succeed in industry. Our product marketing team is focused. They're actually a revenue focused team. And we do that on purpose. Like we track other marketing KPIs, but we are revenue based because we want our team to integrate with sales really well. We want to be, too many people view sales and marketing as competitive, and we should be together. We have sales and marketing here. And when we talk about the marketing and sales team combined, we call it the revenue team. Because we want to have that singular focus to support and help each other. And so our product marketing team works kind of in between the product and the sales team. And their job is to help almost do whatever it takes to help their products hit their goals. And every product we have, like I said earlier, we have 40 products. Like every product's in a different life cycle stage. So every product marketing manager is doing something a little different for their products. And then we have our creative team. We call it the visual communications team. They help make our dreams come to life.
I love that. Dreams come to
Yeah,
life. I'm for it. Yes.
exactly. And then that team also helps with our product because we have such a visual product. They also help create assets for our products in our software. So, and we actually report up through a chief strategy officer. So we used to have a chief marketing officer. Recently, there was some change, and we report up through a chief strategy officer. She's my boss. She has over 15 years experience in ed tech, and so she's new to the team in the last year, and it's been really good for our marketing team to learn from her and to grow. To go back to your question, like, what do I do every day? That's a kind of a loaded question. It kind of changes, but I feel like the biggest thing that like my role specifically in VP is to help. Where are we going as a marketing department? Is the correct message being funneled? Like the message that I hear from the sales and executive team, am I relaying the information to make sure that is being heard by the team? And are we maximizing output from our marketing department? I feel like a big chunk of my job is prioritization because priorities are changing every single day here at Stukent.
Yeah.
And my job is to make sure that's being heard and making sure that we're accepting the right jobs and saying no to the wrong jobs, and that we're optimizing the team so that we can maximize our output and with a revenue focus.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. I'm just so amazed. You guys have a lot on your team, but I really love how, with the way it's broken up and the way like how you explained it as well. So I think it's really great. You guys have a very solid team, in-house, and like reporting to the chief of strategic officer, it makes sense as to how like to be able to position the product and then helping with like, okay, how are we going to maximize our output? It's like coming down to working smarter, not harder. So It's awesome what you guys are doing it in-house. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's difficult at times. We always talk about how we have marketers that are in the weeds and out of the weeds. And my job is to try to be out of the weeds as much as possible so that we're seeing what's going on. But you need both. If you're only out of the weeds and you're only a planning company, you don't do anything. We try to be a team of execution. And so we have to have this balance of doers and people in the weeds and people out of the weeds helping guide us.
Yeah, absolutely. But overall, it's really great. You guys have this balance overall, and it's working. Like from seeing what your team does, it's amazing what you guys are doing.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. So now we're at the end of our interview, and I want to thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. But I also want to give you the last word. If anyone were to forget about everything we've talked about in your interview today, what is the one thing you want them to remember about your company overall? Yeah, about our company, the one thing I'd want to know is just we're out here trying to help educators, help students, help the world. And we do that by providing real world products, like not even real world products, real life experiences for students. And I think if more companies did that, like, how is it real to life? How is it something that, like, people who see this, like I said, it's an easy sell because we're not pitching a new concept. It's a new concept of how it's taught in school, but it's not a new concept of like what students want to learn. Most students go to college to learn skills to get a job, I would say. And so there's people who, across the world talk about how like college isn't worth it anymore. And if you're teaching the wrong stuff, if you're paying lots of money to go, not just to learn, like I could see why people say that. But like people who do Simternships, people who learn these hard skills, like don't feel that way. And so if you're an educator, like check them out. If you're a student, push your teachers to get more real world experiences in the classroom because you'll enjoy it. You'll get more out of it. And it's something you can put on your resume that'll really help your career. And, I think more experiences, more real life is only going to help in the classroom even more. Yeah, it is. And I think that's one of the main things now that a lot of students are wanting is, okay, yes, teach me what I can learn in the classroom, but I also want to be able to learn hard skills as well, where real life situations that I can be able to take with me outside of the university as well. Exactly. And it's going to make you stand out. If you do a Simternship, a lot of students, like we interview a lot of students, unfortunately, a lot of students look the same on paper. Yeah, that's a lot of them did an internship. A lot of them took the same classes. A lot of them have similar GPAs. A lot of them did the same things. But a Simternship is something that makes you stand out. Not too many students can say, they managed $5,000 in digital ads in a social campaign. Not many students can say they did a 10-round sim, a PPC sim, or search SEO sim, or consumer behavior. Like
if you can load the deck with that, that is going to make you stand out in the job space.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely is. Well, thank you again so much. It was our pleasure.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Yes, absolutely. You too. And for all of our listeners out there, check us out next week on Pathmonk Presents.